Okay, in this lesson we learn about expanding brackets. Expressions like this, 5 brackets 2a take 3. That can be written in another way. That's what we learn about in this lesson. Let's see how we do it. The idea is this. If a is outside the bracket, we can distribute it into the bracket by, first of all, multiplying a by b, then multiplying a by c. So we add on a multiplied by c. Now we know, shorthand way in algebra, we don't put the times sign in, so this could be written like this. A times b is just the same as ab. A times c is just the same as ac. So this is the basic rule that we're going to follow. It's called the expanding brackets or the distributive law. So let's look at an example. There's rule again written at the top for you. Now, 3 brackets x plus 2. First of all, we're going to multiply 3 by the x. 3 by x. Then we're going to multiply 3 by the positive 2. Positive 3 times positive 2. So add 3 by 2. And again, using our shorthand, that's just equal to 3x plus 6. Now, as you get used to this, you'll miss out of this step here, and you'll go straight to this line. 3 multiplied by x is 3x. 3 multiplied by positive 2 is positive 6. So we go straight to this line. In this one, 5 multiplied by 2a is 10a. 5 multiplied by negative 3. Now, a positive times a negative is a negative. So this is going to be subtract 5 times 3 is 15, subtract 15. There you see I've missed out the step. Now that maths is a little bit loose. If you want to really see the way it goes, although we don't really think in the way I'm about to show you, so if you want to shut off for a minute, you can do that. But if you want to understand how this really works, let's look at this. 5 brackets 2a take 3. We've learnt that to subtract a number is the same as adding its opposite. So strictly we can write it as 5 brackets 2a add negative 3. And then we say 5 multiplied by 2a, here it is, add or and 5 multiplied by negative 3, here it is, simplifying, 5 times 2a is 10a, add 5 times negative 3 is negative 15, but to add negative 15 is the same as subtracting 15, and there we see we have the answer. This is strictly mathematically correct the way to do it. To write it like this is a little bit slack in our thinking, but that's the way we think in this sort of work. We're allowed to be slack sometimes. Let's look at this one. 2x times x is 2x squared. Positive 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. So 2x times negative 3 is going to be negative 6x. There it is, straight to the answer. Again, if you want to see the real mathematical way of doing it, strictly mathematically correct, here it is. This is the same as subtract, is the same as adding the opposite of 3, which is negative 3. Then we can say 2x times x, 2x times negative 3 becomes 2x squared, add positive times a negative is negative 6x. To add a negative number is the same as subtracting the positive number. So it becomes 2x squared takes 6x. And the last example, negative 2 times c is negative 2c. Now, negative 2 times negative 3, a negative times a negative is a positive. And 2 times 3 is 6. There's the answer in one step. Again, that's loose mathematics though, really. If we wanted to do it properly, we should show it like this. To subtract 3 is the same as adding negative 3. Negative 2 times c is here. Negative 2 times negative 3 is here. Negative 2 times c is negative 2c. Negative 2 times negative 3. A negative times a negative is a positive. So this becomes negative 2c plus 6. Same answer as this. I repeat, this is strictly mathematically correct, but we don't think that. We're allowed to be a little bit loose in this work. We just say negative